Right, there's my notification I was waiting for. All right. Hey there, how are you doing? My name is Angel, and I like all things that are mysterious. And currently, because I keep coming to the streams late, like a lot late, I decided to start early tonight. Plus, I'm really tired. I've already started the yawn and shenanigans, so there's that. But tonight we are going to get into some of the last known photos of 17 legendary historical figures. So that's right there. All right. All right. And then, of course, I've seen the very first one. That is um my thumbnail for this live stream. But it was Albert Einstein. It says photo details, Princeton, New Jersey, March 1955. Oh, he's got a globe in his room. I always wanted a globe. Albert Einstein spent the years. I don't even know if you guys heard me. Is it? Oh, it is on. Oh, thank God. Anyways, I didn't check my stream before I started. Anyways, Albert Einstein spent the years leading up to and throughout WW2 earning his education and building his reputation as a notable professor at several prestigious universities across continental lines. After the war, he became a leading figure in the world government movement, declined presidency over the state of Israel, and he worked with Dr. Chaim Weizmann to establish the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Einstein is well known for his 1905 paper on the photon theory of light, in which he used what he discovered about the inadequacies of Newtonian mechanics to determine that E equals mc squared. What? What is this? No, get out of here. We don't need them shenanigans. A few years later, in 1916, he wrote about another revelation which hypothesized his theory of gravitation. Einstein is a Nobel Prize winner who spent his life studying quantum theory as a professor, ambassador, and clerk. He made discoveries which have since influenced the modern understanding of physics and relativity. Is this fascinating? Yes, I always did find him fascinating. He's also a loner. I understand. I understand. Nobody really likes you when you're smart and stuff, or you think for yourself. Anyways, number 2 is Amelia Earhart. It says photo details 1937. Amelia Earhart was a revolutionary pilot at a time when aviation was a male-dominated field. She was the first woman to cross the Atlantic, the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California across the Pacific, and was the first woman to reach 18,415 feet. Her ultimate goal was to fly around the world, and with her navigator, Fred Noonan, she began the 29,000-mile flight in Miami on June 1st, 1937. On July 2nd, Earhart and Noonan, with 7,000 miles left in their excursion around the world, took off toward Howland Island, a small island in the Pacific, and Earhart's next stop. Due to unpredictable cloudy weather, inaccurate maps, and shoddy radio communications, Earhart was unable to locate the island and disappeared over the Pacific. Rescue efforts began immediately, but no evidence of her fate was ever found. Earhart was an accomplished pilot and revolutionary for feminism at a time when men dominated the social, political, domestic, and business worlds. She worked as a nurse's aide during World War I, a social worker, and an aviation pioneer. This is fascinating. Yes, I always found her fascinating too. that especially back then. Oh no, I ain't trying to fly across the especially when all these plane crashes and all these plane problems they've been having. Absolutely not. Number three, Ulysses S. Grant. I am not gonna lie. He looks like a homeless man here. He just looks real scruffy and homeless like, is what I'm thinking. Anyways, photo details. June 27th, 1885. Ulysses S. Grant is best known as the 18th President of the U.S. and commander of the Union Army during the Civil War. He spearheaded Reconstruction in the late 1860s and was a strong advocate for civil rights. Grant wanted to bring reconciliation to the separated states as well as protect the Black Americans who had been freed. Grant was born Jesse Grant, but while attending the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, a congressman mistook his name as Ulysses and he never corrected it. Oh, that's funny. He served in the Mexican American War before resigning his post and taking on life as a civilian. Several years later, he volunteered as a colonel at the start of civil unrest in America. Hey, I really feel like that's what's going on now, too. But, anyways, and was appointed as general later that summer. Grant was a national hero after the success of the Union Army and was later voted as the Republican candidate for president against Schuyler Colfax. Grant received more than 52% of the popular vote, and by 46, he became the youngest U.S. president to serve at that time. Shortly before his death, Grant finished writing his memoir. The royalty money saved his wife Julia from an impoverished widowhood. Is this fascinating? Yes. That was nice of him to leave her something, like a legacy, so to speak. But, anyways, Abraham Lincoln. Let's see. 500 people we wish were still alive. Actually, you guys would be quite disappointed. Hold on. Can I X out of this? It says more. Probably not. Anyways, photo details. So this picture, February 5th, 1865. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the U.S. and is responsible for enacting the Emancipation Proclamation. I can't even say words. You guys know I have this problem. I'm not laughing about any of it. I'm laughing at myself because I can't pronounce words. I do it all the time. Anyways, which began America's progression toward the abol- abolish abolish I can't pronounce that word. I'm moving on. Of slavery. Abolish They abolished slavery. Anyways, he was a vocal advocate for freedom during civil unrest among the states, and as the war was ending in 1865, Lincoln's life was taken by Confederate sympathizer John Wilkes Booth. Lincoln was not only an advocate for civil rights, but he was a self-taught lawyer known for his honesty and his indiscriminate clientele. He and his wife, Mary Todd, had 4 children, 2 of whom passed before their father. He began serving in the U.S. House of Representatives in 1847 and was notably controversial because he opposed the Mexican-American War. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address legendarily explained the purpose for the Civil War and is famously studied to this day. He also advocated for the 13th Amendment, which outlaws slavery and which was passed after his untimely demise. Is this fascinating? Yes. Like it, I find Lincoln fascinating, but most people probably wouldn't. I've looked into some of the shady shit presidents have done in the past. We've only touched the surface of that iceberg, though. Number 5, John F. Kennedy. They would do this to me, right? Because John F. Kennedy is on my list, not for March, but he's in my phone. He's in my phone. He's on my list. God, that's like the second or third time I've talked about him. I'm waiting though. I'm waiting to do my John F. Kennedy video for when I can go to the Historical Auto Attractions Museum, but they're currently closed due to weather. They don't open until, what did it say, May or June, something like that. They're not open all year long. But I'm hoping to get in there when they open, and then I'll do my John F. Kennedy video because they have a huge section of John F. Kennedy memorabilia, and I think it'd be a good mix, right? So, anyways, John F. Kennedy. See, there's always some, wisdom behind the madness with me. So, the photo details Dallas, Texas, November 22nd, 1963. 1963 was the year my mom was born, her and her twin sister. Anyways, John F. Kennedy was the 35th president of the U.S. and was slain while driving through a cheering crowd in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963, near the end of his first term. During his short time in office, JFK created the Peace Corps, asked for funding for the mission that eventually put a man on the moon, proposed a civil rights bill, and publicly asked Americans to end racism. Inspired the American people, though his elegance and articulate speeches, and deterred the Cuban Missile Crisis without a war. JFK studied at Harvard University and served as lieutenant of a patrol torpedo boat stopping Japanese ships from delivering supplies to their soldiers in the South Pacific during World War II. After a traumatic incident where his boat was destroyed and part of his crew was lost, Lieutenant Kennedy led his men to safety and was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal upon his return. JFK began his political career in 1946 when he ran for Congress in Massachusetts' 11th Congressional District. He went on to serve in the House of Representatives and the Senate before becoming president in 1961. Is this fascinating? Yes. I feel really bad for his wife. That's just. I guarantee that woman had PTSD after that. I feel really bad for her. That is like really traumatic right there. But, anyways, number 6, Nikola Tesla. God, he doesn't look very healthy here. He looks very, very not healthy. Like his eyes are sunken in, his cheeks are sunken in. How old was he in this picture? Oh, they said this was right before he died. Never mind. Hold on. These are before they died. I forgot. Photo details 1943. Nikola Tesla was a Serbian American inventor, best known for creating the first alternating current AC motor. He and Thomas Edison were rivals, and though they both made accomplished discoveries, Tesla did not match Edison's financial success. Tesla immigrated to the U.S. in 1884, where he secured a job as an engineer at Edison's Manhattan headquarters. There, Tesla improved the design for Edison's DC dynamos, for which he expected payment. When he did not receive the compensation Edison had promised, he quit. I don't blame him. Although I'm gonna do more than just quit. I mean, I'm just saying, because that's after years of diligent work in 1887 through 1888, Tesla received 30 patents and was invited to address the the Institute of Electrical Engineers. God, these are all mouthfuls. There, the man who launched the first AC power system George Westinghouse. Hey, that's a brand name that we see all the time. No, I can't come get them. George Westinghouse. Westinghouse is a household appliance name we see all the time. Anyways, took note of Tesla and invited him to work with him on his AC system. The 1890s warranted much of Tesla and Westinghouse's success. Tesla invented electric oscillators, meters, and the Tesla coil. He became one of the first people to experiment with X-rays and short-range radio communication. Tesla, Westinghouse, and General Electric created the first modern power station by installing AC generators at Niagara Falls. Tesla's health declined in his final years, and he became obsessed with the number 3 as well as the pigeons he would feed. He lived out the rest of his life in a New York hotel and continued to work on new inventions for as long as he could. Is this fascinating? Yes. He was obsessed with pigeons. I would have never known that. But anyways, learned something new today. Number 7, Mark Twain. Kind of looks like Einstein. All right, photo details. April 1910. Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain. I did not know that. Oh, they're just acting like that. I did not know that. Okay. I know they usually go by different names, like stage names or whatever, but God, I didn't know that. Was a popular novelist, humorist, and journalist. He is known for his novels, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Yes. I liked, well, I liked the movie. I didn't read the books. I liked the movie, as well as narratives such as Life on the Mississippi and The Innocents Abroad. Abroad. Sorry. Like his most famous characters, Clemens is said to have been quite the mischief maker as a child. In fact, the events of his childhood, growing up in Missouri in the 19th century, heavily influenced the content for his later novels. For example, though he was taught that slavery was a social right and was approved of by God, he was naturally disheartened by the institution, something he reflects upon in the adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He also witnessed several traumatizing events involving the deceased which take shape in his novels. Clemens matured under the instruction of Joseph P. Amit's Missouri Courier. God, these are mouthfuls. And later published occasional works in his brother Orrin Clemens' weekly newspaper. Oh, but they were quite successful, I guess, the two of them. Eventually, he established his own journal in Iowa called the Muscadine before setting up a print shop, which he abandoned when he moved to Ohio. He spent some time learning from riverboat captain Horace Bixby, earning adventures that also made it into his later works. By 1865, Clemens had gained literary notoriety, can't say words, and the name Mark Twain became famous, as is fascinating. Yes, it's kind of hopeful too, because think about it. Like, he really didn't have much. He grew up, he was a naughty child, but he was able to become successful. Gives me hope, right? And he started a whole business and then he abandoned it. Like, bro. And this was back in, so before 1910 he did that, because this is when this photo was taken. Very curious. Anyways, Robert F. Kennedy. God. The Kennedys. I swear, you know, if you know, you know about the Kennedy curse, right? If you know, you know. Robert F. Kennedy. God, that's so sad. Photo details. Los Angeles, California, June 6, 1968. Robert Kennedy was the seventh of 9 children. Holy smokes, in the Kennedy family, and was the younger brother of the 35th President John F. Kennedy. He served as campaign manager and attorney general for JFK and worked tirelessly against organized crime and segregation. He took part in proposing the Civil Rights Act of 1964, enacted 8 months after JFK's untimely demise, and was instrumental in dissolving tensions from the Cuban Missile Crisis. Eventually, Robert Kennedy went on to serve on the United States Senate from New York and took a strong stance against the war in Vietnam. Kennedy ran for president in 1968. Who and what? I, I can't believe that. Like, okay. I mean, his brother had just passed away not too long before 1963. Remember, 1963, and this is only 1968. And won the support of Indiana and Nebraska during the primaries. He was on track to become the official Democratic candidate until he was fatally shot on June 5th at 42 years old. I'm 42 years old. This is fascinating. Yes. And I also feel like there's some credibility to the Kennedy curse because of all the shit that happens within that family. And if you know, you know. It's not just them. There's a lot. It's like a spider web. It just goes out. Like I said, I can't wait to get into that. But we're just waiting. We're gonna make it awesome, right? Because that's gonna be an actual video. It's not gonna be a live stream. So, number 9 is Franklin D. Roosevelt. He almost kind of looks like Mr. Rogers. All right, photo details. Warm Springs, Georgia, April 11th, 1945. Franklin D. Roosevelt won the Democratic nomination and served as the 32nd President of the U.S. in 1932 at the height of the Great Depression. Lexi? I swear. I swear. Anyways, Franklin D. Roosevelt won the Democratic nomination and served as the 32nd President of the U.S. in 1932 at the height of the Great Depression. He was the fifth cousin of President Theodore Roosevelt. Oh, I didn't know that either. So, anyways, and sought to serve the American people while combating his own ailments. FDR was elected to the New York Senate in 1910 and became governor in 1928. His ultimate goal was to recover from the economic disaster that left 13 million Americans unemployed. Oh, I mean, there's a whole bunch unemployed now, but they're not talking about that. They're saying that it's all, on this uphill trend and everything, and it's because they're not tracking everybody that's not on unemployment. And if you live in the state of Illinois, getting unemployment is ridiculous. So I'm just saying. We already know I have a lot to say about that. But anyways, he proposed the New Deal program, which implemented a series of programs over FDR's 8 years in office that aimed to stabilize the economy and provide jobs. FDR suffered from poliomyelitis, which paralyzed him from the waist down over time. He fought to maintain control of his own body and served the American people while often confined to a wheelchair. He supported Great Britain in the European War while withholding military efforts until the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941, which eventually led the U.S. to take part in World War II. He is remembered for his successful reformation of banks, Social Security, public utilities, and employment. Is this fascinating? Yes, I found FDR to be fascinating as well because, yes, he did have health issues. And yes, he was confined to a wheelchair a lot of the time, but he was still able to do his shit. Just saying. Number 10 is Martin Luther King Jr. Look at look at her I like her hat or cap. Is it a hat or a cap? I don't know, but I like it. That is cute. That is cute. I like that. Ah, I could put all my hair up in there. I have a lot of hair. I could put all my hair in there and probably have a lot left over to have it hang over like anyways. Photo details. 1968. In the 1950s and 60s, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led a peaceful movement against racial prejudice, advocating for legal equality for African American people in the U.S. He is remembered as a prominent leader of the civil rights movement in America, and he believed that everyone is equal regardless of gender, race, or creed at a time when such identifying factors were a point of contention in the culture. Some of Dr. King's most celebrated movements toward change included his I Have a Dream speech during the 1963 March on Washington, his 1964 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, where he highlighted that peace did not yet exist for African American people, and his 1963 letter from Birmingham jail, in which he was confined for challenging the injustices of the state. He led a campaign against bus segregation in Montgomery, Alabama, and won when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled such segregated transportation was unconstitutional. He served as president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and was the driving force behind several important peaceful marches for equality across the nation. In 1965, his actions resulted in Congress passing the Voting Rights Act, which allowed African American men to vote. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. King perished as a result of foul play, but his campaign for equality is remembered throughout history. Today, his nearly 13 years of peaceful protesting is taught to be one of the most important aspects of the civil rights movement. It is fascinating. Yes, I did find a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fascinating. And actually, you already know I've already talked about him too, and how there's a lot of conspiracy theories about how he died and who was actually involved in that. But I'm just a little conspiracy theorist. But guess what? There's been a lot of truths that have come out, you know? I mean, think about it. After they enacted the Freedom of Information Act and we started getting, albeit redacted information, we're still getting something. It might not tell us the whole story, but at least we're able to piece it together. And guess what? A lot of the times, us conspiracy theorists aren't that crazy. There's actually some truth behind it. But, anyways, 11. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. Look at that car. Oh, look at the car. You know, mm. Is that like a chest on the side of it? It is. Look at the car, though. Okay. I just can't. I wish this would have been the first one because that would have been a really awesome thumbnail. You guys know I like cars. Anyways, photo details. Franz, Fernand, and his wife Sophie, Sarajevo, Bosnia, June 28th, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was a part of the Royal Habsburg dynasty and was heir to the throne which ruled over the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He and his wife, Sophie, met with foul play in 1914 due to the actions of a Bosnian revolutionary, and his demise jump-started World War I. I did not know that. Fernand's Military service led him to be appointed as the Inspector General of the Austro-Hungarian Army. As Inspector General, Ferdinand advocated for better treatment of Serbians as well as other ethnic groups within the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He and his uncle, reigning Emperor Franz Joseph, disagreed on many important issues. In one instance, his wife, Countess Sophie Maria, was not a member of the Habsburg dynasty. I have no idea about any of that, and therefore was considered unsuitable for marriage. But the couple married in 1899 anyways. I mean, were they family? It doesn't say if they were family. Anyways, though he never took his place on the throne, Ferdinand is remembered for his humanitarian advocacy, military service, and as being a key insight for the outbreak of World War I. Is this fascinating? Yes. It's too bad. Oh, come on. Number 12. Diana, Princess of Wales. Photo details. August 31st, 1997. Yeah, these fucking assholes. The person who took this picture, I hope they have a lot of bad things that happen to them. The person who took this picture, okay? Because that's supposedly what happened is that the paparazzi chased him down and was taking pictures of him, and she didn't want to be seen, and she just wanted to live her own damn life, and then supposedly caused the accident. But I think there's a conspiracy behind that too. I'm just saying. Diana of Wales is remembered as the people's princess because of her relatability and charm. Diana lived the life she wanted in spite of royal repercussions. She married Prince Charles in 1981 due to public and familiarly pressure. I didn't say that right. The couple appeared to be in love, but later revealed that they both had reservations. After a tumultuous 15 years of marriage and 2 children, Diana and Charles divorced in 1996. I have a question. So, when they get married, right? Isn't it like a taboo thing to get divorced when like you are a princess and a prince? Isn't it like taboo? Anyways, 1 year later, on August 31st, 1997, she perished in a car accident with then boyfriend Dodi Fayad. Diana was widely mourned, and her sons went on to restore royal popularity, which faltered with an apparent lack of grief for the fallen princess. Diana worked as a kindergarten teacher prior to her marriage and continued to put her efforts into charitable causes for the remainder of her life. Is this fascinating? Yes. That beautiful soul was taken from us way too soon. Anyways, number 13. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Mahatma Gandhi. Really? I didn't realize there was a first half to Gandhi, though. Okay. Photo details 1948. Mohandas. Oh, come on. Karamchand Chand Gandhi became known as Mahatma by his followers, which translates to the Great Souled One. He was a peaceful activist who resisted prejudice and discrimination as an Indian immigrant in South Africa in the early 1900s. His ultimate contribution to his people was his fight for independence from Great Britain. Gandhi was a devoted Hindu who sought peace between Hindus and Muslims by partaking in hunger strikes and other nonviolent protests. You can't get it open if I got it shut, Zeus. She's a goof. Okay. Gandhi lived in South Africa for 20 years, where he led his followers to resist discrimination. In 1930, he led thousands from Ahmadabad to the Arabian Sea in what is widely known as a Salt March. Never heard of that either. Nearly 60,000 people were arrested in the Salt March. No kidding. Come on. In fact, Gandhi faced imprisonment consistently throughout his life as a result of his resistance, but ultimately achieved great feats in the fight for civil freedom. For example, Gandhi negotiated a compromise with the South African government, which resulted in the recognition of Indian marriages and the come on, people, say it for me. Come on. You already know I couldn't say it before. I give it up. A poll tax for Indians. Gandhi is most remembered for his passive resistance at a time when war was present throughout the world. He perished in 1948 as a result of foul play. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look more into Gandhi later, as it's fascinating. Absolutely. I am on board. I did not know he died from foul play. Elvis Presley. This one I know about too. So there's a conspiracy theory about Elvis Presley too. But anyways. Oh, it's starting. This is why we started early. Photo details. Graceland. August 16th, 1977. Elvis was discovered right after he graduated high school in 1953 when he recorded a few songs at the Memphis Recording Service studio. The studio owner, Sam Phillips, was so impressed he invited the rock star back to record with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black. The trio was a radio hit which led to Elvis's first single with Sun Records, also owned by Phillips. RCA bought Elvis's contract in 1955, and he later produced the #1 pop crossover, Heartbreak Hotel, under their label. His career skyrocketed with a steady stream of #1 singles after Heartbreak Hotel. Elvis spent time in the Army from 1958 to 1960, and he won his first Grammy in 1967 for the gospel album How Great Thou Art. He became known for his performances, entertaining audiences with scandalous dancing and hip shaking. The life of fame and fortune took its toll, however, and he suffered a heart attack in 1977. It really took a toll on him fast. Like, he lived hard and fast. Is this fascinating? Yes. Also, I watched the Elvis movie, and I know that's a very long movie, but I was really into it the whole time. And I don't have an attention span like that, but that story was so interesting. That's the only thing. It was just so interesting. I just couldn't believe it. Anyways, number 15, Vladimir Lenin. He looks really creepy. Did he do that on purpose with his eyes? He like opened them up big and wide. Anyways, photo details. 1923. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, later known as Vladimir Lenin, was exposed to radical thinking while studying law at university. Around this time, his older brother, who served as a member of a revolutionary group, was dispatched. Lenin was later expelled from his university for his radical policies, though he still managed to complete his law degree in 1891. Lenin became a revolutionary himself in St. Petersburg, Russia, but was eventually exiled to Siberia along with his contemporaries. It was in Siberia that he officially changed his name to Lenin and subsequently became a leader. No. Okay. and subsequently became a leader of the Bolshevik faction of the Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party. With German assistance, Lenin returned to Russia and successfully overthrew the country's provisional government, in which it is known as the October Revolution. The revolution incited 3 years of civil unrest, and once he was in power, Lenin disregarded those who were suffering under his rule and was entirely merciless toward anyone who opposed him. He suffered the first in a series of strokes in 1922. They call that karma. Wasn't he a bad guy? Wasn't that what they were just saying? Like he's a bad guy. Yeah, and everybody suffered under his rule and was entirely merciless toward anyone who opposed him. The first in a series of strokes in 1922, karma, which left him regulated to Gorky Manor. What a name. Though still writing and to virtually engage in politics. The third stroke in 1923 rendered him mute. I don't mean to laugh, but if you are an asshole, like you're a piece of shit, and just come on. That is karma. That is why I'm laughing, because he was a piece of shit to people, and karma just kept coming for him. It says he perished in 1924 with concerns about the potential of Joseph Stalin's rise to power. But you were already a bad person. The revolution incited 3 years of civil unrest, and once he was in power, Lenin disregarded those who were suffering under his rule. Karma. Karma. Is this fascinating? No, but yes. Adolf Hitler. Hmm. Photo details. Germany, April 28, 1945. Hitler is responsible for leading the Nazi Party during World War II and evoking the demise of over 6 million Jewish victims and the suffering of countless others. Hitler managed to come into power in part because there was already an undercurrent of anti Semitism in Europe. His memoir warned of his dangerous ideals regarding purity and superiority, yet he manipulated his way to Chancellor of Germany in 1933. God, there's a lot of words there. Big words. Tongue-twisting words. Anyways, Hitler spent the subsequent years during World War II imprisoning his victims in concentration camps ruled by the Nazi Party. Those who suffered at the hands of the Nationalist Party in Germany became refugees after World War II and were displaced across Europe. Eventually, they began to seek restitution and healing by telling their stories and acquiring wealth from the now struggling Nazi Party. Survivors and modern psychologists use their experiences to understand how to prevent the effects of the Holocaust from ever taking place again, as well as how to heal through literature such as Understanding Genocide, Man's Search for Meaning, Night, The Downed and the Saved, and many more. Is this fascinating? Yes. Oh, come on. The names just get harder. Okay, number 17. Oh, this is the last one. Mao Zedong. Zedong. Shut the front door. Mao Zedong. I can't. I can't. There's no way that's how it's pronounced. But guess what? That's how I'm pronouncing it. So, anyways, photo details. Beijing, China, May 27th, 1976. I'm assuming it's this man right here. Okay. Who's this guy? Oh, that's not him. Mao Zedong is a founding member of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, which he saw after he was exposed to Marxist literature. In 1927, the CCP's former allies, the Kuomintang Nationalist Party, KMT, chased the communist group out of northern China and into northwest China. There, the CCP set up a new base, and when World War II broke out, the groups became allies once again. Their partnership was short lived, however, and in 1949, Mao Zedong and the CCP ran the KMT out of the country and started the People's Republic of China, the PRC. Under communist rule, the country's industrial farms and businesses are owned by the state, and any opposition is ruthlessly oppressed. Mao attempted to instate his own form of communism, which would mobilize labor on a massive scale. The program, called the Great Leap Forward, failed, and millions suffered from famine and poor harvest. Mao attempted to restore order with military power. In the final years of his life, he wanted to reconcile with the US, Japan, and Europe. I mean, their story of karma. I mean, that's just awful. I wonder what the next one is. How long have we been recording now? Oh, under an hour. No, you have to deal with that yourself, Lexi. But anyways, let's get into some updates. As you may have noticed, I did add a couple things. So for tomorrow, we're gonna do a Throwback Thursday, and the whole thing behind it is looking back into old videos I've done and looking to see if there's been any updates or um mystery solved is the best way to put it. But anyway, so that is tomorrow. So that's Throwback Thursday. Friday, we are going to do, I'm going to start this little series. It's going to be for after I do like road trips. Um, called The Adventure Continues, and it's going to be a Q&A, and I wanted your guys like reactions to the Camp Grant grand opening, the Camp Grant exhibit opening at the Midway Village. Um, I thought it was interesting. I like old stuff though. Yeah, I'm weirdo like that. But anyways, and then Saturday is March 1st. We're getting into it. We're getting into March. We're doing good luck and superstitions, myths, legends, and haunted beliefs. And just know that the whole month of March is gonna be like Irish themed, so to speak. So there's gonna be a lot of Irish stories, a lot of folklore, so on and so forth. We're really getting into it. I really like a lot of their Irish folklore. Plus, I really love their accents. You guys already know. I love the Irish accent. Scottish accents too. I just love Australian accents. I really like accents. It makes people interesting, right? I'm sure I have an accent to you guys. Everybody tells me it's a city accent. I don't know. Especially my family that lives down south. I think they all sound like they're from down south. They tell me I sound like I'm from the city. I get it. Anyways, so just so you know, the whole month of March is gonna be Irish folklore and Irish traditions and so on and so forth. To celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day. I'm so sorry for, you know, yawning in your face and whatnot, but I am going to get off of here. I know I haven't been on here that long, but we already went over the story. I don't have anything else. We already did updates. So, you know what that means. If you like this live stream, that's going to be a video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you would like to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And like I said, I am, until I find a job, I am shooting for daily live streams on this channel. You guys know I have another channel. I can't keep up with that channel. I can't. It's where all of my personal videos go, like personal family videos and stuff. I shouldn't say personal, they're not like it's just my kids, my kids, my family. And I like that I did that because I was able to save all them videos. So after my mom passed away, so it meant a lot. That's why I'm not getting rid of that channel. I have a lot of old Christmas videos and stuff from there that have my mom in it, so I will never delete that channel. Got a lot of history in there. But anyways, I can't keep up with it anymore because I've been so hard at it with this channel. I'm hoping that everything's gonna smooth out once I get into a rhythm because as you can tell, we just started this. We're only hitting like a weekend that I've been doing it like every day. I was trying to start earlier in February, but I had a lot of problems, you know. So, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow for Throwback Thursday, where we are going to look back into some of my old videos and see if there's been any updates or cases have been solved and what have you, because I have not done that. So, I think that should be a thing for like every year. Like, go back and look at videos I've done every year and see if there's been any updates. That'd be a good practice for me to start enacting. Anyways, I really hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will see you tomorrow for Throwback Thursday. I hope that everything is going good for you, and